Hey there, my dear friend. Welcome back to episode 5 of the Before You Sleep series. Another day has quietly slipped away, and I am so glad we get to meet again in this still, quiet space. Thank you for spending this peaceful moment with me. I know that nighttime is when we think the most. It is when we feel lonely and we have no one to talk to. This late night podcast is made for days like this. So, if you have a heavy feeling in your heart tonight, or a small worry you cannot stop thinking about, just leave it here with me. You do not have to carry it alone. Let the quiet time make you feel warm and safe. You are not alone. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let everything go. Wherever you are right now, I am so happy you are here. You do not need to understand every word. You do not need to remember anything. Just listen to my voice and let good energy fill your mind before you sleep. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, you will see that everything looks brighter and much better. Now, take a nice deep breath in and let it out softly. Pull your warm blanket close. Close your eyes and let's begin today's episode together. Chapter 1: What makes a life worth living? Today, I want to talk with you about something simple but very important. What makes a life worth living? Earlier today, I was scrolling through my phone and found a photo from 5 years ago. It was a simple photo of a messy dinner table with some food left on the plates. I still remember how I felt at that time. I was worried about money, worried about my job, and afraid that I was falling behind other people my age. But when I looked at the photo today, those worries did not feel important anymore. Instead, I felt a quiet warmth when I saw the person sitting across from me, someone who is still by my side today. Back then, I spent so much time worrying about the future. But today, I can hardly remember most of those problems. What I remember is that simple dinner and the person I shared it with. It was just an ordinary moment, but now it feels very special. Maybe some of the best memories in our lives are being created while we are too busy worrying to notice them. I think you may have felt this way before too. Maybe there was a time when you felt like everything was going wrong. You thought it was the worst time of your life. But a few years later, when you look back, that difficult time may seem much smaller than it once did. The storms that once felt so scary slowly passed. The failures that made you cry at night became only memories from the past. So if you are going through a difficult time right now, please be kind to yourself. You do not have to solve everything tonight. Try not to worry too much about the future, and do not let the past scare you again. What happened has already happened. You do not have to carry it with you every moment. For now, just come back to this moment. Right now, you are here. You are safe enough to lie down, rest, and listen to these sounds. You are breathing, you are here, and for this moment, that is enough. Tomorrow will come when it comes. Tonight, you only need to rest. Chapter 2. A good life is not a perfect life. When people imagine a good life, they often imagine a life without problems. They imagine waking up every morning, feeling happy and full of energy. They imagine having enough money, a peaceful family, meaningful work, good health, and no heavy worries. There is nothing wrong with wanting those things. We all want to feel safe. We all want our lives to mean something. But no life stays perfect for very long. Even the person living in a beautiful home can feel completely lonely inside it. The person with a successful career can still wake up feeling empty. Someone who looks strong and confident may still be afraid of disappointing others. Everyone has something they are struggling with, even if we cannot see it. That is why I do not think a good life means a life without pain. Pain is a part of life, but it does not have to be the whole story. You can go through a difficult time and still have people who love you. You can feel sad and still notice something beautiful around you. You can have problems and still find small moments that make life feel meaningful. A comfortable life does not always make us happy, and a difficult life is not always a bad life. Sometimes, even in our hardest days, there can still be love, beauty, and something worth holding on to. In fact, even on the days that feel boring and almost the same, life is still changing. If you slow down and look a little closer, you may notice that no 2 days are exactly the same. The light outside your window is a little different. The sky has a different color. You may hear a new song, have a small conversation, or notice something that you did not notice yesterday. And maybe that is one of the most beautiful things about life. Every day is new, in its own small way. As long as you are still here, still breathing, and still able to see another day, there is always something new waiting for you. This is often how we experience life. We do not always notice things changing while they are happening. Day by day, everything may seem almost the same. But then, one day, we look back and realize how much has changed. We have met new people. We have lost some things and found others. We have learned lessons we never expected to learn. And somehow, we have become a different version of ourselves. That is why an ordinary day is never really just an ordinary day. It is another small part of your life that you will never live in exactly the same way again. Sometimes, simply being here is already something special. You still have another chance to feel, to learn, to love, to rest, and to begin again. And that is a quiet kind of miracle we often forget to notice. Chapter 3. The life that looks good and the life that feels right. Sometimes, late at night, when everything becomes quiet and the people around us are asleep, we start to think more clearly about our lives. And maybe a simple question comes to mind. Is this really the life I want? Or am I living this way because I think I should? Because a life that looks good is not always a life that feels good to live. You may have a good job, but feel tired every morning before work. You may have a beautiful home, but still feel lonely inside it. You may look successful to everyone else, but deep inside, you may still feel that something is missing. That is why a good life is not only about how it looks from the outside. It is also about how it feels to live it every day. Do you feel peaceful when you wake up? Do you have time for the people you love? Can you be yourself without always trying to prove something? Because in the end, a life that looks good to other people may still feel wrong for you. And a life that looks simple and ordinary to others may be the life that makes you truly happy. Think about seeing someone wearing a beautiful pair of shoes. They look so good, and you think, I want those too. But when you put them on, they hurt your feet. They look great on them, but they do not fit you. Life is just like that. You do not need a life that looks amazing to other people. You need a life that fits you. And that life might look very simple, but if it gives you peace, time for the people you love, and the freedom to just be yourself, then that is already a very good life. Chapter 4: The Quiet Meaning of Life. A meaningful life doesn't have to be big or amazing. Maybe it is not always about doing something extraordinary. Sometimes it is simply knowing that because you were here today, someone else's day became a little better. You know, sometimes we do not realize how much our presence matters. The things we do every day can feel so small that we barely notice them. You cook dinner and your partner feels cared for. A child feels safe simply because you are sitting next to them. A friend feels less alone because you answer the phone and listen. A coworker has an easier day because you offer a little help. None of these things may feel extraordinary, but maybe this is exactly where a meaningful life is found. Not only in big achievements, important milestones, or the days we will remember forever, but also in these quiet, ordinary moments that make us feel loved, useful, connected, and alive. Sometimes, I understand this most clearly when I look at old photos. I see people I used to spend time with, places I once knew well, happy moments, ordinary days, and even some of the hardest periods of my life. And somehow, when I look back, they all feel beautiful in their own way. The joy, the sadness, the people who stayed, the people who left. With time, they all become part of the same story. And that makes me realize something simple. Maybe life is not made only of the moments that feel important while they are happening. Maybe life is simply a collection of experiences. Some make us happy, some hurt us, some teach us something, some quietly change who we are, and together they become our life. One day, even this ordinary day, the one you are living right now, will become a memory too. The conversations you had, the people beside you, the meal you shared, the small kindness you gave, even the quiet moments you almost forgot to notice. So maybe life does not need to be perfect to be meaningful. Maybe we do not need every day to be exciting, productive, or unforgettable. We just need to be present enough to truly live it, because sometimes simply being here, caring for someone, sharing a moment, helping a little, loving quietly, is already more meaningful than we realize. And perhaps years from now, these ordinary moments will be the ones we look back on and think, that was life, and I am glad I was there for it. Chapter 5: The Beauty of Not Knowing. And maybe this is also why not knowing the future can be such a beautiful thing. When I look back at old photos, I realize something. I did not know those moments were coming. I did not know who I was going to meet. I did not know which people would become important to me. I did not know which places would become part of my story. And during some of the hardest moments, I had no idea that life would eventually change. At the time, I only knew what was happening right in front of me, just like now. We often wish we could see what comes next. We want to know where we will be in 5 years, what kind of work we will be doing, who will still be beside us, and whether the things we worry about today will eventually be okay. Because knowing feels safe. But if we already knew everything that was going to happen, maybe life would lose something beautiful too. There would be less surprise, less discovery, less space to wonder. What if something wonderful is still waiting for me? There are still people you have not met, places you have not been, conversations you have not had, opportunities you cannot see yet. And there is probably a future version of you that you cannot imagine right now. Maybe calmer, maybe stronger, maybe happier. This is the beautiful thing about the future. It is still open. A difficult chapter today does not tell you how the whole story will end. Feeling lost now does not mean you will always feel lost. A rejection does not mean there is no other door waiting for you. Sometimes we look at one small page of our life and try to understand the whole book. But there are still so many pages we have not lived yet. And maybe we do not need to know what is written on them. We just need to keep turning the page. Of course, not knowing can still feel scary. Uncertainty isn't always something to fear. Sometimes it means something beautiful could happen too. So when your mind asks, what if everything goes wrong? Maybe try asking yourself this instead. What if life surprises me in a good way? You do not need to know exactly where your life is going. You only need to live the part that is here now. Because years from now, this moment may become just another photo, another memory, another chapter of your life. And when you look back, you may realize that you had no idea what was waiting for you. The people you would meet, the places you would go, the things you would lose, and the beautiful things you would gain. You were simply living one day at a time. And maybe that is part of what makes life so beautiful. We do not know what comes next. We only get to live it, little by little, and discover the story as it unfolds. Maybe that is the best we can do with a life we cannot fully predict. Be present. Do what you can. Take the next small step. You do not need to have everything figured out today. Just live this moment as well as you can and let the rest unfold in its own time. I hope this episode helps you release a little worry tonight, sleep deeply, and wake up tomorrow feeling peaceful and ready for whatever comes next. If you would like to stay a little longer, you can continue with the playlist on your screen. And before you go, I would love to ask, what is one beautiful moment from your day today? Maybe it was a good meal, a kind message, a quiet moment, or someone who made you smile. Share it in the comments if you feel like it. Your small happy moment might help someone else notice theirs too. For now, sleep well, take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.